So you're seeing the first company fall victim to layoffs, and we see what comes from that, right? When you lay off and you don't pay attention to who's doing what, you don't know who does what in tech. We don't need tech. We got AI, we need profits, et cetera, et cetera. We just saw Verizon fall victim to that. And who's next? Who's going to be the next victim to correct or overshoot trying to go for profits, right? Well, we just seen, like I said, Verizon, who in all rights are a juggernaut company, just have a major outage, right? So now we got people rethinking whether it should be with Verizon or not, or some loyalists are probably going to be fine to stay. I know even my home had internet problems yesterday. We were affected by it. Many were affected by it, millions, because they wanted to overlay off people. And I got a Verizon insider who was a part of the layoffs, and he was telling me that they didn't really do their research on who was doing what. They laid off cyber folks. They laid off software engineers, network engineers. They didn't do any research. It was kind of like those government layoffs that we've seen in the past year. Just fire people that managed the nuclear warheads. Like, who did they have going through Verizon making the decision to lay people off? Was it software based? Was it profit based? What made them just go through and fire anybody? And I know they're gonna say, "Oh, it wasn't a cyber attack. Oh, this outage didn't happen because of the layoffs that they just had not even a month ago." And my friend also told me, on my insider, said that they laid people off at Verizon, but they also gave them tons of access, right? So they had access for about a month, and they're going to get paid for the next 9 months or so, which is crazy. So not only did you lay people off that knew they were getting fired, you allowed them to be tinkering and playing around in your network for another month after they've been fired. That's insane. So we won't know the truth right now. But if I had to guess, it was an inside job, right? It might have been intentional or malicious. Yeah, yeah, it is nice to know Ricky Russell. Um, it's crazy. There's gonna be a lot of blowback, and this is just their first one. They can either eat crow now and bring some of those employees back, because he said a lot of the people that were fired, they were senior, junior, they were good, they were edge network engineers, they were senior management, people who knew where the bodies were buried, people who knew who had historical knowledge of Verizon and what they do. So it might not have been malicious intent. However, people who were putting out fires on a daily basis, you might have laid them all, right? Yeah, it was good. I'm glad this is worth your time. So Verizon's gonna be the first company to fall victim to over layoffs, shake some profits, and then next we're gonna see probably Amazon have some issues. Meta's already having issues, but we don't know if it's layoff based or they were already just hemorrhaging based on them trying to do the entire uh, infrastructure for their Meta space. They even changed their name, right? from Facebook to Meta, building out all that virtual infrastructure and VM. They built the VM infrastructure before having a solid VM software. I mean, virtual reality software. I said VM, but VR software, right? So that's crazy. Hey, Zammy, I see you out there. So with Meta, Meta might be next, right? And it might be because they over leveraged themselves in that virtual reality space, but they didn't have a real virtual reality system. So I tell people all the time, it's never a good idea to lay off a bunch of tech people. You don't know what band-aids they're covering up because their management has no clue. But by that person showing up every day, they're covering up stuff, putting band-aids on stuff. They're putting out fires, right? So when you lay them off, it's kind of like a logic bomb going off. It's just waiting to happen. Everybody's been away from their desk for 2, 3 weeks. Now you're having issues. They're gonna have to tuck their tail and call back some of their people because they've only been my friend said they only been out a week. I mean, no, 2 to 3 weeks, depending on what buyout they took at Verizon. They haven't been out that long. 2 to 3 weeks, people, and then they have a major outage. And Verizon typically doesn't have these type, so you know it's something in the water at this point. So if they don't hire some people back that have some knowledge of the system, knowledge of putting out the fires, knowledge in that area of the place in New Jersey where they had the issue, there's bound to be more. He said they got rid of field technicians, cyber engineers, they got rid of software engineers, network engineers. They also got rid of senior management, right? For all of you who just came in, I have an insider who was a part of the layoffs with Verizon. And just to give a little background, Verizon had a mass layoff last month. They did do buyouts. Well, not buyouts, separation package where they're going to be paying them for like the next 7 to 9 months. But they didn't thoroughly vet, okay, who should we be laying off? Who's useful? Who's not? Let me know what your thoughts are in the comments below. Or if you know someone, or if you can speak to a topic. Have you faced something like this? Did you know it was coming? I hate to say I knew it was coming. I didn't know who it was going to be. And I didn't know it would be a major player like this, like Verizon. But these things happen. You don't know who's running what, who's been there, who's putting band-aids on it. All because you want to champion AI, which is unproven, mind you. You want to champion AI, you want to go for corporate profits, things like that. You know, it's crazy. If you haven't done so, like, subscribe, leave a comment below. I like to chat and interact. And let me know what your thoughts are. Do you think this is the last time Verizon will have a problem, or will it shut down, create more problems for them? What do you think, Ricky Russell? What about you, Zammy? What do y'all think? Y'all think we're gonna have more issues with Verizon because of these layoffs they had? I didn't drop my sauce. Trying to eat dinner while my kids are in their martial arts class. It's a little quiet time, a little downtime. But I also wanted to talk about this because this is crazy. They lay off people, then allow them to continue working for 2 to 3 more weeks. Who does that? Right? That's like amateur move. Like who does that? Would you allow someone roam around your house freely after you just told them they need to get the F out, but you're gonna give them $20 to get a cab home, or you're gonna pay for that Uber home? No, you wouldn't. You wouldn't let somebody roam like that. It's crazy. And with this AI layoffs, you heard it here first. I predict that cybersecurity is gonna go through the roof because you're creating a lot of, you know, allegedly enemies if you send home a bunch of tech people, software developers, people who know what your passwords are. Who's changing the passwords? Did Verizon have everybody all the passwords changed before they laid everybody off? Did they? I doubt it. I know they didn't. I know they didn't make all those employees change the passwords, but even if they did, would they know them on the way out? Right? It makes no sense that to lay people off and allow them to still have access to your network. It makes no sense at all. FYI, the dinner tonight is kava. I got a little kava bowl. But I can't believe Verizon allowed people to have access to the network, access to the passwords, and some of them still have laptops. They're still out in the world with company laptops. What sense does that make? But I guess if you fired security, they can't send you a message and be like, hey, this isn't a good idea. So I'm interested to see what happens with Verizon in the next week or two. Are they going to go on the hiring frenzy? And my friend, he thinks that they won't be calling him back. He thinks they're going to have to just wait a while. I think they're going to have to hire somebody, either new people or bring back a few senior people. Drop your thoughts below. And I'm sorry for eating so aggressively, but I have about 3, 4 more minutes. And then I have to read my boys, but we'll be following this closely. I'll be back on later tonight, too, taking a look at what the updates are, what's going on, what people are saying on the ground, where they saying on X, where they saying on the Reddit forums. We'll be tracking this closely. I just hope, as a Verizon customer, that it was just somebody didn't who normally puts out fires just so isn't there, and not a thing where one of the former employees have access to the network.